That way.
I am so super proud of her. I love Liz dearly. She is such a supportive person. She is such a person who meets you where you are. And I just love her for that. She celebrates everybody. And so this moment for her, I felt needed to be celebrated. So at this time, we're going to call her husband, Rodney. And he's going to come and he's going to say some amazing words about Liz and introduce her as she gets ready to read.
She's already said everything I was going to say. I'm a guy of very few words, so I don't have a whole lot. I mean, but any of y'all here that know Liz, you know exactly all the things that Toy just said. Anything that I would add to it is, again, she is just dedicated and determined to when she sets her mind to something, she's gonna follow through it. Very genuine, kind-hearted, again. These things have been said. So with me being, again, a guy with few words, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up my wonderful wife, Elizabeth Merriwether.
Thank y'all so much. You know what? This is what I realized, that people don't have to take time out of their day to come and celebrate with me. So I appreciate y'all for coming out. This, of course, is, I'm trying to see if this is the biggest moment outside of getting married and having children. Probably, because I am I'm very private. So for me to share even a portion of my story in here, in this book, that is really something. And I really had to pray about it. I was speaking with the young lady that's the visionary author, Dr. Tamara Mitchell Davis, yesterday. And she followed up with me a few times about some other book projects, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready because I was busy. I wasn't ready because I just wasn't ready to share my story. But this particular time, I actually was responding to her to tell her, girl, I can't do that, But by the time I finished with the message to her, my response was, yeah, I'm ready.
I know.
And so it shocked her and it shocked me too. And so now we are here. I'm really thankful to be in this collaboration with these other women. I of course, y'all are here for my story, but you can start with my story, but just be sure that you read the others as well. One of the ladies in here, she's the first story, and she talks about she had been with her job for about 30 years. She was sick, wasn't looking for anything else. She was just gonna, ride through the sunset with this particular company. And then all of a sudden, she was assisting HR with telling other people that their jobs would be phased out.
Oh.
And they ended up calling her to tell her that after 30 years of giving her blood, sweat, and tears to this company, that her job would be phased out. So she had to figure out, what is my next?
Right.
Because that wasn't her plan. And so just her perseverance, you all need to, read her story as well. Okay? So if you have your books, I think we're gonna do 2 reads today so that you can hear the story in my voice. And you can just pick it up and fill it in. So we're gonna start at page 50. I'm sorry, page 49, we'll start there at the beginning, and we'll just stop at, I think in my notes, we're gonna stop at 53. Yeah, okay. All right, so my chapter is From Grief to Grace and Healing. All right, and so it just says, my quote that I chose is, memories are the whispers of love that linger long after the moments have passed. And that was important to me because as I talk about grief, grief for my mom passing away. Then one of my closest uncle, he and I were like brother and sister, not uncle and niece. And then, of course, most recently with my grandparents passing away, I felt that was most definitely important. Now, I did write this chapter before my grandmother transitioned, but it is appropriate, for myself as well as others, that we just hold on to those memories, but because we're going to need them as we, walk through this path in this life. So it says that I had to experience a major loss in my life to realize that I had the strength to help myself, and also to be used as a vessel to help other women experiencing losses or carrying trauma. I believe it is those valley experiences, which are our lowest points in our life, that are used to wake us up and shake us into our purpose. And that is really the reason why I wanted to be in this book, because I believe that we all have a purpose. And a lot of times in our valley experiences, that's when we discover, or we seek to discover, what our purpose is. And so I found my purpose. My purpose is to serve, celebrate, and connect with women. If y'all don't know nothing else about me, I'm going to celebrate some women, because I believe that there are a lot of things that we have had to deal with. We have witnessed women not celebrating others. Right. We've witnessed women talking down on others. So if I hear any of that, you don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to be around too long, because that's not my spirit. And so, like I said, my purpose is to serve and to celebrate women. And so I shared the story of how this grief started. It says, here's my journey. How gorgeous a morning it was. It was Thursday, November 21st of 2013. I can remember so vividly the warmth and beauty of the sun and the coolness of the air. This was to be a typical day of working at the office and also taking my mother to a couple of doctor's appointments. The first appointment for surgery on her eye was to delay the glaucoma. The second appointment, which I thought was supposed to be just a routine, like a minor surgery, to repair a catheter for dialysis. The eye surgery was completed, and we rushed to the next appointment for the catheter replacement. As we rode, we brainstormed and we thought about and we laughed all the way to that appointment during our drive, planning the dinner that we would prepare once we arrived home that evening. Because the surgery was, of course, a basic, typical surgery, at least that's what I was thinking, I helped Mama change for her procedure. Our plan was for me to wait until she was done, but it appeared the doctor was behind schedule and the wait would be longer than we had anticipated. I have a standing meeting each Thursday at the office, of course. Derek, you remember those? All right. As a nurse, we used to work together until he retired. I had a standing meeting each Thursday at the office, and the nurse suggested that I attend the meeting because it's going to take longer. And once I returned, my mom would be ready for pickup. I agreed, and I ran back to the office for the meeting. In the time it would take for you to cook a basic meal, just think about it, just a basic meal. You don't even have to go by the recipe. It could probably be some noodles and you just throw some meat over in there for the family, or watch their favorite television episode, or in my case, run to the office just 15 minutes away and attend 30 minutes of the hour-long meeting. My life changed forever. I didn't know that in those 45 minutes, I held the last conversation with the woman who gave birth to me. This woman was not only a mother, she was also grandmother, mother-in-law, beloved daughter, sister, and the friend everybody would have wished for. The woman who boiled over with happiness when she spoke of me and had been proud that I was her daughter, had made her final transition. My mother had many challenges in this life, but she still had a joy that no woman or man could steal from her. She knew God's love and dedicated her time and energy spreading love to family, friends, and even strangers. Guess what? I was in a whirlwind trying to figure out how and why this had happened. I've experienced hurt, disappointment, and betrayal, but I do not believe any of those feelings can compare to the sting I felt from the death of my mother. The feeling was an emptiness that was sometimes so overwhelming that the tears would flow uncontrollably. What most didn't know is that my mom and I had been in the middle of rebuilding and nurturing our relationship. She had just moved into the home with my husband and my daughters and I to allow us to help her since she was having physical challenges. For years, we loved each other and respected one another, but there still was this unspoken distance between us and we were attempting to close that gap. Anybody ever wish that they had said or had some other experiences when somebody transitioned? That's how I was feeling. And suddenly on that day and forever after, she was gone, so it was too late. My mom loved the simple things in life, like her fuzzy green gloves, remember those? Those old black and white Western TV shows, and of course some Hershey's chocolate bars. We often lovingly teased her when the temperatures were well above 80 degrees and she was wearing those gloves. I sometimes long to hear her voice, and I miss her laughter. To this day, I could walk into a department store and I can recognize the perfume she used to wear. As the years went by, I have noticed and learned from others so many things we had in common. They tell me, of course, I recognize our smile and my love to play spades and backgammon. I gained the love for both of those from her. Since I always felt strong through other valley experiences in my life, as the days and months passed, I attempted to not break or to bend too much because there were so many who needed to lean on me. My grandparents needed support because this was the second of their 3 children who had died unexpectedly, and I wanted to do all that I could to lessen the pain and provide support. I was also concerned about my daughters. Tiara and Taylor would navigate their grief because my mom meant so much to them. She was Granny, you know, the person who would watch movies and play cards with the youngest, which was Taylor, David, which has been their routine since she had moved in with us. They played cards and they're gonna watch Matlock and some Western movies. Yeah, Walker, Texas Ranger. Yeah, that was definitely. All right. Granny was there for my oldest, which is Tiara, from high school. My mom was so proud of her attending college that she gave her the very first car that she would own. She meant the world to them, and they had a special bond. Weeks and months went by, and life for others may have moved back to normal, but mine was getting slower, more confusing, sadder, and more cloudy. I went about my routine of having date nights with my husband. I laughed when he laughed, and y'all know he loves to laugh, right? I got on calls with my 2 besties, Cassandra and Kelly, joking and having girl time. I was going to work every day and completing those projects, but no one realized I was wearing a mask. None of those close to me knew about the challenges I was experiencing. There was no way I could let them know, or so I thought, because I was always the strong one who can make it through any storm. I was depressed and the saddest I had ever been in my life. As smart as I was, I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what I could do to get out of that black hole. There didn't seem to be enough massages, manicures, nor pedicures to make me feel better. I remember leaving the office each evening and driving to the local parks in our community just to allow myself time to cry. Once I felt I had had enough strength to make it home, to cook and connect with my family, I would head home and pretend like nothing ever happened. No one knew I had just sat crying for about an hour, and I was mad as hell. I wanted to know why my mom had to be taken just when we had gotten a bit closer, and just when she was truly being free to live her life. I had wanted her to know she was worthy of all of the best life has to offer, and did not have to settle or let others decide this for her. I felt that we did not get to complete the mission. And then my last sentence last 2 sentences is, my mom's transition was painful, but it pushed me to do the hard work. I had to do the inside work. This pulled me to find my passion and my purpose, which is to support, to serve, and to celebrate women. This is the second and final reading for the evening.
I gotta go get going. Love you.
Excuse me. You good?
Love you. Y'all celebrate my sister one more time.
That way.
All right. So if you were here earlier, I couple of pages, 2 or 3 pages, and it just really talked about my introduction to some of the worst hurt or grief that I've experienced. So we'll pick up on 50, starting at the bottom of 57. I didn't fill in the middle so that you can make sure that you read the beginning
To the end.
to the end.
Right.
Okay. And then also I shared earlier that I know that you all are here to support me, so I thank y'all. I shared with them earlier that people don't have to take out time from their schedule to support you. And so I'm most definitely grateful. But make sure that you read everybody's story. I was able to align with 9 other authors, and they all have some powerful stories. The first story here, she shared that she'd been with her job for 30 years. She was set, was making a nice salary, and she just knew that she was gonna ride off into the sunset when she decided to. And she was in HR. She was helping them to tell other people that they were possibly losing their jobs. But one day she received a call that her job was being phased out. And so then she had to recalibrate. So what do you do when you gotta recalibrate? So she gives you some of those steps. So make sure that you read all of the stories, because all of the ladies in this book, we are talking about embracing change, pursuing purpose, and finding success, even when you have valley experiences. Okay? All right, so at the bottom it says strength will be most definitely necessary for your transitions. It is definitely a fact that our lived experiences form and shape us, influencing our outlook on life and how we navigate its challenges. Strength becomes a necessity during times of transition, whether in our personal or our professional lives. I have dug deep into my soul multiple times throughout this journey, but I have emerged on the other side of each transition. Now, sometimes what awaited me was bright and beautiful, but then there were other times it was not so promising. Yet, despite the uncertainty, I am still here. I'm resilient. I'm determined. I'm happy. I'm loved. I am the light that is needed in this world. Yet, despite the uncertainty, I'm still here, like I just mentioned. Faced with adversity, we often question our abilities and choices. But it is through some of the toughest moments that I have discovered my truth, strength, and my resilience. So I offer my story to you all as something that you can refer to, just knowing that, hey, we're all going to have valley experiences, but we can definitely get through them. We all have a purpose. We are not just here by chance. It's a reason why we're here. And as I mentioned in this book, I am here to support, to encourage, and to love women, and to let us know that we are wonderfully made and we can do anything. I know I come through the lens of self-care, mind, body, spirit, and this year I have embraced finances. Mind, body, spirit, and finance, they all need to be whole and as healthy as possible. I don't care what folks say. Some folks say, oh, people focus too much on money. But I can tell you, if you don't have enough money, then it's almost like oxygen. You can't hardly breathe.
Right.
And so those things, that area is gonna also help to support you in those other areas as well. So at this time, I would offer even more food. Let me say thank you. And I want somebody to record this. If you haven't been recording, because we gotta show this.
Your baby's
Okay, that's right. Nico, you recorded as well. I gotta say that what you give out is what comes to you. And so I pride myself on making sure that I encourage and support women. I don't just speak it, I most definitely try to do it. Now, I'm not perfect at all, but I think about Jackie, if I can share. I'm just talking about all different areas, how we have to be intentional.
Yes.
Jackie and I may not talk for, I think the last time we saw each other was at my grandmother's funeral in May. Before that, it may have been quite a few months. But I'm intentional to check in with Jackie and say, hey girl, what's going on?
Yeah.
So that she knows I love her. Keisha, one of my very good friends, Keisha, I thank you and I love you. Keisha made the desserts on the table. Her business is, why you clapping right this in your okay? Right. Her business is baby cakes. And she is on Facebook. So we need to make sure that we support her. Because she got a dream. Right. She got a purpose. And sometimes you got to get kicked and pushed into your purpose. And that's what we tried to do. And now look, she's operating her purpose. Latoya, I got to tell you publicly, ma'am, I thank and I love you. And I'm going to show you also a talk about being intentional. Latoya and I met at an event. We didn't know each other. But I was like, hey, let's get together for some coffee. And you know, sometimes people say that, but they don't mean it. Well, I reached out to her, I think it was the next day or so, and 2 days later we met for coffee and we've been stuck together since then. And how many years ago has it been?
About 10.
About 10 years ago. And so just being intentional. Latoya, so right after Big Mama passed away, I was trying to figure out, okay, what is this new phase? What am I doing? What is this new season? So Latoya and I met for coffee early morning at 7 o'clock. And I happened to just mention, she was like, what you got going on? And I said, oh, well, you know what, I'm an author on a book. And she said, great, we're going to have a book signed.
That's right.
Like, okay. I mean, I'm telling y'all, she acted like she was the author. I mean, she hopped up, we're going to have a book signed. I was like, okay. And she said, and I'm going to handle all the arrangements. So let me tell you, if you need someone to handle your events, an event planner, I highly recommend her. And let me tell you why. Because some folks saying that they planning some events, but they just kind of just doing something. I told Latoya my vision. I also, I said, now look, I'm going to tell you my vision, and I'm going to tell you the people that operate in excellence. These are the folks that I recommend to reach out to. And she put everything together. I think Latoya and I may have had maybe 1 or 2 conversations after that. That's it. And then today I just texted and said I'm on my way. That shows that I didn't have a whole lot to do. I told you what my vision. I don't have to keep following up with you. If I got to do that, then I can do it myself. So I highly recommend Latoya Dotson. Please get her information, even if you don't need them. Somebody's gonna need an event plan.
Right.
And you want them to operate in excellence. You don't want to go to something that somebody just put together. Okay? All right. So who else? What I was actually trying to say is that all of y'all here, all of y'all mean so much to me, but we got to be intentional as women in making sure that we support each other and that we highlight each other. Okay? Miko has a women's conference coming up. Make sure y'all connect with her. Latoya has a women's conference coming up. Kim is selling houses. Tiara's a social media manager.
Okay.
Tell me if I'm missing anybody. Any other businesses I'm missing? All right. Okay. Well. Oh, and Kia. I just got here. Okay. So this is Makita. Makita, tell me the name of your business, Makita.
Ritzy Rose 901.
Ritzy Rose 901. So Makita, all the decorations, Makita handle those.
Okay.
All right, and also she does, okay, I'm probably not gonna describe it right. But if you want to, with your boo thing, set up something in your backyard, and you want to be really nice, Makita can handle that. Other things as well, so make sure that you get with Makita. So I gotta publicly say thank y'all, because it took women, everything that you see here was handled by women except for the charcuterie cups, or Rodney, what would you call them?
Bougie cup.
Everything else was handled by women. All right, so I thank y'all so very much. Help yourself to the food, and of course, if y'all are having women's events and you need an author to come in and talk on a book, then of course, please consider this particular book. All right, thank y'all so much. I love y'all.
Love you.